Hello, everybody. Welcome again to the GGRated.net live show. This is episode number 18, and I'm your host, the Iceman. And joining us once again is our good friend Hydra. Hydra, how are you doing?
Doing fine. Ready for today's show? We're going to have a lot of stuff to cover. And obviously, a big focus on MLG, as everyone might be expecting, because it was like one of the most epic events ever. Not the best ever, in my opinion, but still very, very good.
Yes, definitely. We'll be covering MLG thoroughly among all the other spectacular topics we have today. And joining us today, we have one member out and one new special guest in. Sebastian is out. I believe he's busy with some work today and he couldn't make it to the show, so we're going to be missing him. But joining us is one of our friends from Rush Zone, the site that we are currently affiliated with, and they do a lot of Battlefield streaming, and that is our friend GhostChanter. How you doing, Ghost?
I'm not bad, thank you very much. I'm just thrilled to be classed as a special guest. I've never been a special guest before.
Oh, it's good to have you here, man. Why don't you introduce yourself a little bit? Tell everybody what you do, what you guys have going on over at Rush Zone, and why you're a Starcraft 2 enthusiast, I guess. So just break it down for us.
Yeah, well, I'm a StarCraft 2 enthusiast because I try to play the game. Not quite successful playing the game, but I do try. I do keep up with the game, though. And over at rushzone.com, like you say, we mainly do Battlefield streaming. Battlefield 2 was a big game for Rush Zone. At the moment, we're trying to branch out into other things, like with you and StarCraft 2, and we are really trying to get pumped ready for Battlefield 3 because we think that is going to be the next big game. And if EA get it right, hopefully, it'll be the next big esports thing to rival StarCraft 2.
We'll
Sounds
see.
good.
We'll
Fingers
see.
crossed.
Yeah, but different genre, but I think it will be different sort of powerhouse. Hopefully, quite prominent in the first-person shooter community, but I think StarCraft 2 will still be the king in the
Yeah.
RTS esports community.
Yeah, it
But
will definitely be.
yeah, good to have you on for the show. I know that you said that you watched all of MLG, so you'll have plenty of feedback on what happened during the MLG games for us to make some commentary along with us. But enough of that. Hydra, you kept
Uh-huh.
up with all the happenings in Korea going
Yeah,
on
I
in the
did.
past Super Tournament.
Yeah, I've been following the Super Tournament, though I'm a bit senile, so I don't remember most of it. But I have some faint recollections of what went on, and I watched today games before this stream started, our live show started. So on those ones, I probably can add a bit more information and just update everyone with today's results. So spoiler alert: if anyone haven't watched the games today, just mute me.
Yes. Don't mute him because then you won't be hearing anything. But all right, let's go for it. Let's hop into the GSL Super Tournament, and
Yeah.
we'll just cut through the results here, and I'll get the VOD rolling on screen while we can go over the results together. How's that sound?
Yeah, perfect.
All right, I'll let you start here. We'll go through. We have all the
Mhm.
lists. We have all the results listed on today's docket, so go for it.
Well, we had some interesting matchups here. Some upsets, I would say, and some surprises, some interesting surprises, in my modest opinion.
Yeah.
As you can see on the results, we had OGS Top defeating ST August, formerly known as August Wera, 2-0. This one was a clear one. I mean, people weren't expecting, though August is a solid player, is a good player. OGS Top has been on top of his game, so to speak, pardon the redundancy, but he's been quite good, quite efficient on the GSLs, and he gets constantly very good results. So we were expecting August to not be able to resist his force. But then we had Choya Foyu against Zinio.
Wow.
And I
Yeah.
remember this game.
This was a
Choya,
good setup.
yeah, and Choya defeated Zinio 2-1. And you want to know why do I remember this matchup? Because the whole time, every time they filmed Choya inside the booth, he was singing while he was playing. Yeah, he just sat down on the chair, started singing. You could see him like rocking on the chair, the chair wiggling on the back. And he kept singing all day long, and defeated Zinio by singing his ass off, I guess. Maybe, I don't know, maybe Zinio didn't like his singing or threw him off. What I do know is that Choyo took the win there 2-1, and I was actually expecting Zinio to win here. So one of the upsets, one of the surprises, also by the fact of Choya being now kind of a manager on Team 4U, as we all know. He has been playing as frequently as before on the GSL. He kind of set himself on the side and has other responsibilities inside the 4U team. We already seen him on a suit and tie. I'm pretty sure you guys remember that. So I wasn't expecting him to be this efficient against Zinio, but hey, congrats to Choya, and too bad for Zinio. Then you had SC4U defeating Hyperdub. This was an unexpected result, I mean, so to speak. It was an expected matchup and an anticipated matchup because it involves two very good Terrans on the Korean community, and SC4U just took a clear win there, 2-0 over Hyperdub. I was actually expecting something like a 2-1, but I guess that it ended up like that. And then you have Maka Prime and MVP Noblesse. As you can see there, it says 0-0 on the result, and Maka Prime got a walkover because Noblesse didn't show up. So Maka Prime basically got a freebie here, and he was able to qualify for the next round. Then on the following results, you have as well, on the next group, and now already on the round of 32, you have IM MVP facing against Slayers Ganzi, and big surprise here, MVP getting defeated 2-1 by Ganzi. What can I say? I was quite shocked.
Yeah, this was
I was really...
shocking
Go ahead,
result.
go ahead.
I know we saw Ganzi just show up recently on the Slayers team from the previous season, and we hadn't heard too much about this player, but man, this is quite something to be proud of in his list of achievements so far, toppling MVP. I would say that's pretty good.
Yeah, it is. And also a sign of the quality of Slayer's team, because I don't know if you've been noticing, but they're getting really, really big. You see players from them all over the place, taking wins, playing really, really good. Obviously, now I can just talk about Slayer's MMA, because the guy was just a monster this last weekend on MLG, but he already been showing that skills in the past, and boy, just apparently Slayer's Boxer has been teaching these guys just brilliantly. And like I was saying, MVP got defeated by Slayer's Ganzi. Then you have OGS Supernova defeated by Slayer's MMA 2-1. Slayer's Ryang defeating MVP Violet 2-1. And you have IM Nasty just trampling over Startail Bomber. And Bomber is quite a good Terran player, by the way. But I mean, Nasty, you need to be on top of your game to even be able to stand close to his level of playing, you know, to even stand a chance of actually taking some wins over him. And it wasn't the case. Nasty just crushed him. Ghost, what do you think about this? You checked any of these games? You like any of these players here?
Well, I personally haven't seen any of the games, but there is one thing that I'm just noticing looking through the Super Tournament, just keeping up with them, and that is there is a lot of Terrans left in. There doesn't seem to be much else left in it. It's a bit worrying maybe that, like, the state of the game and stuff like that, but it's like TVT is just not something that I find entertaining.
Yeah, I guess you're right. There's plenty of Terrans. It's also a sign of the mix that they did, because there's Code S, Code A, and even some Code B players mixed in, and you end up with a lot of Terran players. But I wouldn't like to see like a million TVTs until you get to the final. So hopefully some of the Zergs and Protoss will survive and will be able to provide us some nice games against all of these Terrans, I guess.
The Zergs especially, you can't beat a bit of Bane and bombing here and there.
Yeah, I guess. And following the results here and taking a look at what's afterwards, this Group A match 1-3 and Group D match 4, you have the continuation of round of 32 with Juk2 Jung, now known as OGS Juk2, taking a win 2-1 over MVP Keen. Then a surprise for me, the best for you, 2-0 over TSL Trickster. I don't know, I just wanted to root for Trickster, SSKS, Sagisu, whatever. I've been used to watch him for so long. And he ended up getting crushed here 2-0. The best for you, I know the guy is good, but I wasn't expecting him to be this efficient. And then you have another Slayers player doing very well, 2-0 over MVP Genius. Genius just, I don't know, he was getting some nice results on the previous GSL. Now he got crushed again, and again by a player from Slayers team. So the Slayers team is basically dominating the scene at the moment. And then you have TSL Revival 2-1. 2-0 over Hungan Prime. So another clear win here for TSL. Then on the final one, that was the matches that were played today. You had an interesting matchup here, Marine King Prime versus Startail Ace. I watched this one not long ago. Ace started with the first game, he tried to cheese Marine King. He made two gateways inside Marine King's base on a corner, just covered with the shadows, and Marine King didn't went there to check it. But Marine King's micro was so good that he was able to resist that assault, kill all the zealots that were coming out of those gateways, and just crush Ace. And then on the second game, it was more of a macro game and a longer game, but still Marine King was a notch above Startail Ace and took the win there. So 2-0, well-deserved for Marine King Prime. Then we had Linok for you defeating Clyde, so he's not going to be world champion once more. I guess that Tastos is going to have to talk with Clyde because he's just not... he's not shaping up as a champion, apparently. And again, Linok for you, that is not even on Code A. He's Code B at the moment.
Yeah, Linok with surprising results for being in Code B, which, I mean, with the style of play and the quality of play from this young guy, I mean, it's not really Code B material, as you can see. But somehow he just slid down to Code B. If you guys had watched the up and down matches from previous seasons.
Something is worrying me about Linok because everyone already commented. We already commented about this in the past as well. Code B, it's kind of like the second circle of hell. You know, like it's hard to get out of there.
Yeah, it's really tough to get out.
It's purgatory or something. I don't know. There's like a million talented guys, all of them trying to grab like 10 spots. It's not 10 spots. I'm just making it up. But it's too many people, too many talented players fighting for not enough spots, and you end up with big players getting stuck there for ages. And apparently Linok is one of those guys because he just took Clyde to 0. The guy is solid. He's been playing very, very well as Zerg. And being a young kid, I think he's 16 now, he has a big margin to evolve and progress.
Yeah, I believe he's one of the, if not the youngest player in GSL, is he?
Yeah, quite possible. Quite possible, yeah. I think there was another... I remember Maru Prime, but he's gone as well. It was a young kid as well. But I think Linok might be the youngest one, yeah. Then moving on, you had Slayer's Alicia defeating Xenex Björn. Was an interesting matchup. Some very solid play by both players and some long games, long macro games. But Alicia was just better. Clearly, watching him, he was better and he deserved the 2-1. Still, close call, not as clear-cut as other matches that I was reporting previously. And then last but not least, as I was commenting before, in the round of 64, Maka Prime took a walkover. His opponent was MVP Noblesse, and now he faced SC4U, and you guys know that SC4U has been doing quite well on the GSL, having some strong finishes, and he got crushed by Maka Prime 2-0. And Maka Prime is another of those players that completely faded away of the community, disappeared. But look at him. He's still solid enough to face a guy that has been doing quite well on the GSL.
Seems that this the Super Tournament, we've been seeing a lot of extraordinary results, a lot of back and forth between players that have kind of slipped away or fallen out of the spotlight are progressing and showing some skill, whereas more well-known players are struggling a little bit. And I don't know, it's just maybe Super Tournament, they're not taking it as serious, or I don't know, just sometimes the best of 3, you can just get caught off guard and easily lose 2 games. So, you know, might be something to take into account.
And also there's players that probably they're not aware of, or they're not following them and checking their builds. Right. And basically they're sniper players. They show up and snipe the guy out, you know? They know who they're going to face with. They prepare this specific strategy and they assault them. And, well, on some situations you end up with, for example, I was hoping SC4U to have a clear win over Maka, and Maka just did what he had to do and killed him. So congrats to Maka.
Yeah.
Yeah, the good thing is with Maka as well, even when he fades away, he's still part of the Prime clan. And you can't fault that he's always going to be playing against good opponents like Marine King. He's got the training. Yeah. You know what I mean? He's always going to be a good player and have good people surrounding him.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, he has really good practice partners. As long as he belongs to that group, he's going to have some nice players to practice with, and he's going to be fine-tuned. I mean, at least he can shape up his game to show up on this event. So, yeah, congrats to him. Doing good.
Definitely. Well, that about wraps it up for the Korean tournament scene. Let's move on to the North American shore, where basically the meat of all the tournaments took place for the past week. We have 3 major tournaments that were going on: the IPL, NASL, and MLG, all happening on North American soil. So lots of stuff happening here. And I think we're going to hop into NASL Week 8 first. and lots of
Go
results
for it.
here. Yeah, I'll
Just
let me get the
roll the
results on
VOD.
screen, and I'll roll the VOD.
Yeah, roll the VOD. I'll just go over the results fairly quickly.
Yep.
And I'll share them with you. Just the final bit, the final page. I'll pass it on to you. Okay?
Are you going to take the first couple, and then I'll take the last couple?
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah,
go for it.
Okay, so we just had, first of all, TLO getting defeated by Phoenix. Disappointing for me, but we had TLO here on the last week. As you guys recall, we were interviewing him, and he's been struggling a bit, having some health issues. His wrists and hands are not like 100%. He needs to get a bit of rest, so I'm not sure if that's related with something or not. I do know that Phoenix is not the biggest superstar ever, though he has been getting some decent results this week, and I was expecting TLO to win, but Phoenix 2-1. Congrats to Phoenix. And then we have Sheth defeating Vibe 2-0. Grubby getting defeated again on the NASL by
Grubby's
Morrow.
been on a losing streak in NASL.
Yeah,
It's not looking so good for him.
Yeah, Grubby hasn't been doing very well, and as you guys know, he has his own team, Team Grubby. Well, basically it's him for now. But what I mean by this is he needs the success, he needs the visibility, he needs to win games if he wants to live out of the game, if he wants to have this professionally. Or else one day we're just going to be seeing Grubby fading away, and I really didn't want that. I think Grubby is part of the community and he's one of those big players that needs a break. I don't know. He's just not doing very well on the NASL. And here, well, he defeated. I'm sorry. He didn't defeat it. He got defeated by Morrow, who is one of the main references playing Zerg in Europe. He's just a tremendous player. I would actually like to see more of him in Korea. Maybe one day we're going to see some more. We had like a small glimpse on the GSTL, but the World Championship, but it wasn't enough. I would like to see more of him. Maybe one day, who knows. Then Rainbow defeating Artosis. Okay, it's getting kind of normal. And Moon, the Korean Zerg defeating... Sorry?
I said leave poor Artosis alone. He's trying hard.
Yeah, I mean, he has a lot of duties, as we all know, and obviously he tries to do his best on the games, but clearly the other players are practicing more, are more aware of the game, the moment the game is, and he ends up getting trampled. But still, kudos and congrats to Artosis, at least he tried, it's something. And then we had Moon facing against Kiwikaki, defeating Kiwikaki 2-0, and then passing to TT1 versus OGS Ensnare. An interesting result here for TT1, defeating Ensnare 2-0. Not sure if latency had any issues here, any relevance. I do know that on the Artosis versus Rainbow matches, internet issues were bothering Artosis, so things are just like that when you're playing from Korea, I guess. Mm-hmm. And then Moman, the French Zerg, facing against Whitera and defeating Whitera, but
Whitera didn't actually show up.
Exactly, that's the reason why he defeated him 2-0. Basically, it was a walkover. Whitera didn't show up, and then we have Dark Force facing against Show and defeating Show 2-0. So, impressive result here by Dark Force. Mm-hmm. I was hoping for Show to take the win here, but Dark Force was just solid, strong enough to take him 2-0. Congrats to him.
Mm-hmm. And continuing on here with the results from NASL Week 8, we have all the Idra fans... the current scapegoat and hater, Cruncher, defeating QXC 2-0. And Cruncher, I mean, he's been a formidable opponent in NASL, and QXC is no small opponent whatsoever. I mean, the guy has shown proficient talent with the game. He's had some ups and downs. Basically, as you guys might have known from what we've talked about earlier, the guy is pretty dedicated to his studies, so... The amount of practice time he gets, I'm not actually aware of, but QXC a strong player nonetheless. But Cruncher taking the victory there 2-0. Then we see In Control facing July in what was a great series, and July took the game 2-1. It was actually an awesome match to watch there. Two really good powerhouses. The NASL frontman In Control himself facing off against the July Zerg, the God of War. I mean, this was just a really interesting matchup to see personally.
Yeah, I watched that one live. It was pretty cool. Pretty awesome matchup. I would just like to add that, as you guys know, QXC was studying in Europe. There was some news about him just finishing his studies and starts focusing on Starcraft 2. And as we all know, there's news that the FX Open team is going to move and send their team to play in Korea, and QXE is one of the members that is on the group that is going to be sent to Korea. So we might be seeing more of him soon enough. And facing against the Koreans, he really needs to shape up his game.
Yeah, I
Yeah, that'd
really
definitely
hope.
be interesting.
Yeah, definitely. I really hope to see FXO do well in the upcoming team league here because that would be a really nice victory for foreigners, especially a whole complete foreign team coming to the Korean soil. So I'll be rooting for them definitely. Then moving on with the results, we have Axlav winning 2-0 against Slush, Naniwa 2-0 against Moonglade, DDE
Oh,
2.
yeah.
Pardon?
Just saying, oh yeah.
Yeah, Naniwa, hot player right now.
Yeah.
DDE defeating HeyPro 2-0. Straylock over Kawhi Rice 2-0. Man, Kawhi Rice has been struggling a little bit as of late. And Straylock just exploited that. And then we see Squirtle 2-1 over Nada. Quite a powerful result for Squirtle. Nada is a very famous and very strong player. And as you guys might remember, Squirtle is the famed player from the Team League quite a long ago that we saw. I think he did an all-kill and introducing quite a bit of mothership play. So great play there from Squirtle to see him defeating Nada. And then moving on with the rest of the results, we have Select with a 2-0 walkover over Braddock. I guess he didn't show up, and Select was given the victory there. Then we have Rhett versus Cats. Rhett wins 2-0. Then Hasuabs facing against Starlife. Hasuabs wins 2-1. And then we have MC facing against Goody, and MC getting the 2-0 win there. Then we have Ace versus Machine. Ace wins 2-0 against Machine. And then finishing up with the results here, we have Idra winning 2-0 over Druby, Mana winning 2-1 against Sake, Cloud wins 2-1 over Sen.
Yep.
And then we have Zenio beating Liquid Tyler 2-0. And then we have Boxer getting a walkover against Pain User. And I guess Pain User has actually quit NASL. That's what they're saying. That he is not notifying NASL, and he will, I guess, not be playing. That's what they're saying. Can you confirm that, Hydra?
Yeah, there's something bothering me here. Well, obviously, Pain User as well, but as you can see, there's several players that they don't show up.
Yeah.
They don't say anything. They're just gone. I mean, obviously, the NASL organization needs to pay attention to these situations and maybe have a really serious talk with these players when they have the chance, or even go for extremes like, okay, this guy and this guy and this guy got to a point where they just ignored NASL after they got a spot. We're just going to ignore them for the next season to show them that things don't work like that. I'm not sure how far does NASL wants to go. What I do know is that on the specific case of Pain User, I'm not sure what's happening with him. He's just basically gone. He didn't show up for the game as well on last week, if I'm not mistaken. Mm-hmm. And one of the problems on this situation here, and based on the comment that you can read on Team Liquid, is that Pain User didn't said anything, didn't show up, and Boxer, Slayer's Boxer, we're talking here about the Emperor, though much respect to Pain User as well, but even as a human being, I'm not even going to focus much on his status as an icon for the game, for Brood War and Starcraft 2 as well, but focusing on the human aspect of it, I mean, the guy just left Boxer hanging the whole day. It says here, Boxer had to stay up for the entire day, and he was waiting for Pain User to show up. And has a note from NASL saying that this will be noted because Pain User didn't just notify NASL that he was quitting NASL. I mean, just never mind these are pro gamers, never mind it's Slayer's Boxer. Imagine that it's you and me. I mean, if I organize something with you, if I don't show up, I just call saying I'm not going to show up. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah, I mean, well, especially with the time change between Korean time and here. That's a big slap in the face, let it being the Emperor, let alone anybody, you know? I mean, that's just...
Yeah.
As a pro gamer, you have some duties to fulfill as being a pro gamer. I mean, you run a schedule and you claim to be a professional gamer. You need to have the, professional aspect about the way you handle these games. Yeah. And Pain User, I'm not sure what's up with him.
Well, I'm pretty sure he's working on all of that IPL stuff. I know he's related with IGN, meaning that he works for them or has collaborations with them, and probably is focusing more on that. I respect that. The only thing he needs to say is showing up and say, listen, I'm focusing on my work with IPL, or I'm focusing on something else, and I'm not going to play more on NASL. Would be fine.
Yeah.
As you remember, on the previous GG-rated, TLO told us the Korean players to play on the NASL, they get up at 4 a.m.
Yeah.
Something like that. I mean, so Boxer gets up,
That's
waits
crazy.
hours and hours. Yeah, he gets up, waits hours and hours for this guy, for paying user. He doesn't show up, doesn't say anything. A bit of lack of respect, in my modest opinion. I'm pretty sure he has his own reasons that I'm not aware of, but hopefully he's going to explain that in the future. Ghost,
Yeah.
what do you think about this kind of attitude?
Well, I've actually had experience of it at LAN events where people have just disappeared from their desks and people go chasing them, and we've been sat there for I think it was an hour and a half at one LAN, and it is not nice. I can't even imagine what it's like to wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning and then sit for hours and hours and hours waiting to play the game. And it is just complete lack of respect, like you say. And I think for it to happen twice is definitely something that should be punished. There's no way about it. I'd normally go for three strikes and you're out, but when the time difference is that big and that major, if the first time you don't have a good reason, then it happens again, then you should be blacklisted. In my honest opinion, it sounds harsh, but like you say, professional people, professional rules, professional punishment. Sadly,
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
think you're right.
That's well said. Another point I would like to bring up quickly before we move on with this is if this thing starts reoccurring and this becomes a common theme among players who just maybe NSL isn't as important that week, or they have something else they want to take care of, so they think, I can just skip out on my games, no big deal. If NASL doesn't come down on this and start moderating this sort of attitude, it's going to give NASL a bad name. And if players feel that they can just get away with this, and this is one of those side tournaments where they can play when they feel it's good for them, then I don't see it shaping up to be good for the future of NASL, because it's going to give NASL maybe a not so good reputation, or a bit of a weak reputation. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But I think that they know what's at stake here. I mean, there's a lot of competition at the moment. As you guys seen this weekend, MLG just stepped up another level once more, and I'm pretty sure that NASL will have to be a bit strict, a bit harsh about this kind of situations, and stopped having players that go for this kind of attitude. So I'm assuming that on season 2 there might have some changes on their rules. We'll see.
Yeah, I'm not saying right now that it's tainting their reputation, but I'm just saying if this sort of thing becomes common, or people start getting this view, it's gonna tarnish their reputation a bit as a major organization and an event.
Of course, yeah, but I think they're gonna take care of this soon enough. I'm not sure if they're gonna make like a blacklist, like Ghost was mentioning, or if they're just gonna have a serious talk with the players. I'm not sure. I'm not part of the organization, but I'm sure that they're going to try something, because this organization, the NASL, is pretty big. They committed a lot of resources to this, and I don't think they want to just fade away from the community with a lot of frustration and a lot of anguish related with players skipping them because they don't find them relevant enough. Right. NASL wants to be bigger than that. I'm sure of it.
Right. Well, think of it this way. I mean, if you buy tickets to an event, to a sporting event, you expect that sporting event to be held. You don't pay your money for the season tickets, and then the players just say, I don't feel like playing today, and they don't show up. I mean,
it's complicated.
You can't have that kind of thing. But I'm sure they'll work that out, and hopefully paying users doing all right. I mean, not really sure what's going on right at the moment, but hopefully it's just he's busy and he hasn't notified people. But let's move on and continue on now that we mentioned the IPL. Moving on with the IPL, the Season 2, the qualifiers are currently still going on, and just recently we had the qualifier number 4 take place this past week, and seeing some new faces show up: Root Minigun, ATN Sake, Six Jacks DDE, and Fox Moonin, all qualifying in the qualifier number 4. And we're seeing quite a variety of players, I would say, for the new IPL season. And this is exactly what you were hoping for, was it not, Hydra?
Yeah, well, what I'm liking the most is that finally we have a nice mix between Europeans and North Americans. That's something that I find quite important, so they can attract more viewers. Obviously, we do know that the North American side of StarCraft 2 has some solid, good players there, some consistent and quite superstars on the community. I'm remembering, obviously, Idra, but there's other examples of very solid gamers. But to have them mixed with the Europeans, as you might imagine, is going to attract more people, is going to make the event even more attractive than it was before. And if IGN keeps the same standards they had on Season 1, with the same production values and all of that, it's going to be at least twice the fun that it was Season 1. And boy, Season 1 was really good.
Yeah, it was really epic. I really enjoyed watching the IPL. I mean, literally, I made the time to watch every single match because it was just it was so good to watch.
Yeah.
And I would say that the thing that really attracted me in the beginning was the professionalism and just the overall quality. I know we've sounded a bit like a broken record keeping on touching with that, but I just think now with the mix of all these different players from all these different regions is just going to make the product so much better, with the combination of the professionalism of IPL or the IGN team there, mixed with all these great superstar players that we're seeing a nice mix of. This is shaping out to be something that's going to be huge, and if they keep it going and evolving like this every season, I see IPL turning into one of the biggest contenders for the StarCraft 2 scene here in terms of attention grabbing.
Yeah, it's just I'm just going to pray to God that nobody leaks the results.
Yeah, that was
that really annoyed me.
Season.
Luckily, I never read them, but I was really annoyed to hear that had happened.
Yeah, sometimes I unfortunately left the chat window open and I got some results spoiled for me. So if the results do leak, make sure you turn off chat so that way you don't get trolled. Yeah. But that was unfortunate.
And let me just send a shout out here for this player we're watching now on the VOD, that Zerg Gerbil from Team 11 Gaming. He did quite well on this previous qualifier, and much respect for him. He was one of the Zergs that I haven't seen playing before, and I really liked what I saw. I mean, the guy has potential. We'll see in the future if he's going to be able to rise to the occasion. But for now, he was doing very well on these qualifiers. I hope to see more of him. So congrats, Gerbil. Go.
Yeah. As you said, Hydra, it's good to see a mix of players, and there's some players who are showing up that I actually haven't heard of. Gerbil specifically, I hadn't heard of him before, but it was nice to see him put up a good fight, put up some entertaining matches for everybody to watch. So IGN, nice that they're including basically everybody they can get their hands on in the IGN Pro League. Go ahead.
No, just wanted to say that this is the qualifiers. Players are basically applying and trying to see if they're solid enough to get a spot, to clinch a spot into the final event that will happen in the future. And on this moment, well, Gerbil was one of those guys. He was doing pretty well. Congrats to him. But there's other players we might be seeing some stars on the rise. Oh, and let me just, a little side note. I know from what I read that Spanishua is taking care of his school-related issues. He has some stuff to do, but he's considering showing up for the next MLG. I would like to see him qualifying for the IGN, the IPL as well. I think it would be a nice way of him entering the scene on the tournament level, and I'm still waiting for it. I wanted to see if the guy is solid enough. But I think this is the latest news. I was actually hoping to see his name showing up for this IPL, IGN qualifiers, but I think the reason he didn't show up is that one. He's just focusing on his school, get everything done, and then he'll start hitting the scene, so go.
Yeah, I would really love it if we see Spanishua show up in IPL. I think this is exactly the kind of domain he would love to experiment with his Zerg creativity in, because it's not the solid play that you kind of see in Korea. I don't think his play style would really suffice in Korea, but somewhere like this in the IGN Pro League where you have a nice mix and a plethora of different players, I think Spanishua would be a player who could do very well in this league and would bring an entertainment factor to IPL that many of the viewers so desire.
Yeah, I think so.
Hoping that Spanishua makes an appearance, but hopefully he gets his schoolwork done as soon as possible and then starts showing up in IPL, as you said, Hydra. But
you've got to have priorities.
Yeah. But that's enough with IPL. Let's move on to the white elephant in the room that everybody is waiting to talk about, and that is MLG, folks.
Ooh, here it comes.
Yes, MLG. If you guys missed out on MLG Columbus, then you missed
You
out
missed
on
out.
some epicness because we saw Koreans throwing Hadoukens, we saw
Oh, yeah.
dancing zealots, we saw all kinds of craziness. And first off, I would just like to talk about the improvements that were made on this year's MLG, this MLG Columbus versus the previous MLG event we saw. If you guys recall, last MLG, they had quite a few issues. The streams were not really working properly, a lot of downtime on the streams. Also, during the event, there was quite a bit of time between each match where people were just sitting around idly and nothing was really going on, which was quite frustrating, something that we brought up. And it seems that this time around they got things fixed and they got things right, which is really nice to see. They had two streams going, the red and blue stream, which I think is definitely the way to go. Two streams going, and the casting was wonderful. The streams worked. I barely had any issues. A few times it froze up, and I had to refresh, but other than that, it was going fine for me. And the most important thing is that they kept the games coming. And that was really great to see that MLG made the adjustments, and I'm really proud and happy of them because this was an epic turnout, and the event was just amazing. Hydra, why don't you give us your thoughts, and then after Hydra Ghost, you can take it away and comment on the MLG for how it turned out for you.
Yeah, well, first of all, I want to ask you to check the link that I just sent you, see if you can put it up on the stream. And, well, Ghost can check it as well, obviously. I send it to both of you. But meanwhile, I would like to say that, yeah, I was really pleased. Really liked this MLG. It was such a tremendous difference from MLG Dallas. As you guys know, things went really bad on MLG Dallas. It was a mess. And they learned their lessons, did very well on this one. There are still things that can be improved. Obviously, there's always room for improvement. But the fact that the organization from MLG realized everything that was wrong and they were able to fix it, well, my applause to them. It was a very entertaining weekend for me, very amusing. Loved the streams, loved the casting. There's little things that are just related with me, with the way I like things to be done, so you can't do anything about that. As a general opinion and in the general perspective, it was good. It was just a really good event. Was it the best I ever saw on this live event? No. For me, it's still DreamHack Invitational.
Yeah.
Let me tell you why. There was still some gaps, some time lost there, hanging, waiting for the next match to come. Especially on day 1 and day 2, I'm pretty sure there was several matches going on that people weren't able to see, and there was none of the streams covering any of them. I know that Day 9 and Artoses and Tasteless and DJ Wheat, they're all humans. They need to eat, they need to go to the bathroom and so on, but you guys still let pass a lot of matches. There was still plenty of matches to watch. Get someone else to cover the matches. Think about it. Would be a good idea. I'm going to give you an example. You know what people are saying that is still missing on the VODs from MLG and no one casted on MLG? There was an extended match between Thorzane and OGSMC. Would you like to see that?
Yeah, actually that is. I believe you started putting that on your channel, and I started watching it there. So.
Did that not get casted? I thought I just missed it. That is a crime.
I casted 2 games. The first 2 games, I think it's from day 1 or day 2. I'm not sure at the moment. Mm-hmm. OGSMC versus Thorzane. But then they faced again on the 3rd day on an extended matchup. Those matches weren't casted anywhere. There's only replays, and now it's going to be us, the casters on YouTube, taking care of it. But, I mean, isn't the game big enough for MLG just to sit down and cover it? Just do it.
Yeah, I mean we have 2-time GSL champion versus TSL 3 champion. It's
yeah. That's big.
I think it's really simple. I saw on several VODs that there was several casters, YouTube casters. Some of them quite well known. I think the community wouldn't be annoyed if those guys just sat down and made a cast like really quickly, you know, for people to just enjoy OGSMC versus Thorzane. But guess the organization doesn't work like that. Anyway, this is just me being picky. Overall, MLG Columbus was awesome. Just great, tremendous matches, brilliant to watch. Good streams, though it's still missing the 720p HD. That
Yes.
high quality is still not HD, so step up on that subject as well. And I did saw signs, posts, and like cardboard signs that people were making saying, "Please, IKEA, sponsor MLG. We need chairs. Come on, get
Yes,
some
those are the
chairs.
big things.
Come on, get some chairs." There was people commenting on Team Liquid saying there's a bunch of chairs on the Call of Duty Black Ops side and no one is sitting on them. And on StarCraft 2, there's missing chairs. It feels like they're still underrating StarCraft 2, or they just didn't took care of getting enough chairs. I don't know. But there, for you to have people, viewers that went there to MLG to watch the event and they took their time to make signs saying we want chairs, I mean, it's because they were missing chairs. Just little things. I'm pretty sure that the event was epic live as well. I loved it. I'm just trying to be picky in a way that I'm hoping for the MLG to improve, to shape up on those little aspects and get to the next level. Because for me, like I said, DreamHack Invitational was still better. I know they have different sizes. It was different organizations, a 3-day event against a 1-day event, more players, less players. I understand all of that. But as an experience, as a viewer, me sitting down in front of the stream, it was such an ease and so nice to watch DreamHack Invitational. No breaks, a bunch of games, nice interviews with the players. No one was complaining about missing chairs. There was a girl dressed as a Zerg on the front seat. It was just awesome. Awesome. Brilliant, tremendous, awesome. So MLG, pay attention to that. You're on the right way. You did tremendously well. Just keep moving forward.
Yeah. The main difference is DreamHack can focus solely on the StarCraft 2 field, whereas MLG is supporting a broad spectrum of games. But still, I mean, chairs, come on. If someone's not using them in one area, let's show some support. And I think maybe they're still underrating StarCraft 2 a little bit, but at least they're moving in the right direction and they're making positive changes. And putting that aside, the games were epic, and we saw plenty of great matchups. But I'm sure they're going to start tidying up the loose ends, and they're just going to get it together more. But hopefully they do it soon, because StarCraft 2 is huge, and I just hope that they don't underrate it,
No, the MLG did very well. MLG did very well on this one. I'm just being picky. Please troll me instead of trolling MLG, because they did so much better than in Dallas. And following this path, the next one, I think, is in Anaheim, if I'm not mistaken. The next one is going to be just huge, the best thing ever. So congrats, MLG, for the effort.
Yeah. Ghost, what did you think of it? I know you basically watched the streams 24/7.
Yeah, I loved it. The announcement that the high quality streams are going to be free for the whole weekend just put a great big grin on my face, and I abused it.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
With pleasure. On the issue of no chairs and stuff like that, I think MLG's big improvements was made to the online side of it and the organizational side of it. I just don't think America yet is realizing the power of a LAN event. Well, it wasn't really it was a LAN, but as a spectator sport, I mean, I think they could fill auditoriums of spectators if this got advertised properly, and I think that's what they need to improve in for the localized side of it.
Right.
Yeah, I think they will. I recall reading this morning a comment by someone from Team Liquid. You guys correct me if I'm wrong. I do not remember if it was an editor or an admin from Team Liquid. Someone commenting saying, "Please, MLG, do not make StarCraft 2 a side event on your show. Make it the main event." What this means is, it feels like that MLG is just slowly adapting to StarCraft 2, but it's still not their main thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think something they could possibly look into doing would be, they already spread it over a number of days, but maybe it might be more beneficial for them to do the Halo on the first and second day, and along with the Black Ops, and then just have 3 days where you dedicate every stage, every seat to the StarCraft, because like you say, the size and scale of it is huge, and maybe they're not prepared for it. That's one solution I can think to it.
No, but keep in mind that when the event starts, I think it's something like 250 or something like that players, meaning that for me, I would see it with maybe stretching it a little bit more, one more day maybe,
Yeah.
and focusing. I'm pretty sure that if you stretch it one more day, maybe things will be a bit smoother.
Yeah, I
Maybe.
mean, the pool of players that they have to wade through is
Yeah, was
quite
big,
a
was
long
big.
list, and
Yeah.
not to mention that they have to support other multiple games. So
Yeah.
Hmm.
it's a hard thing to get running smoothly. And I think
Yeah.
that the corrections that they made were more important than the chairs. Because if I remember
Yeah.
correctly, the major issues last time were the
True.
online stream and the soundproofing in the booths. And
Very true.
I think those are the two things which directly affect the outcome
The
of the
tournament,
game
yeah.
more importantly than chairs and stuff on site first. So
Yeah.
to see them address those issues right off the bat and get them working in better quality in this run, I think that now that they have that set, they know what they're doing in that aspect. Hopefully next time they can address more of an on-site issue.
Yeah.
So I think they're taking it in modular parts, and I think that's a good way to go about it. So it's nice to see that they did address the most important issues first, for me anyhow.
Yeah, I mean, any company that's willing to make changes is good. It's a
Yeah.
good sign.
Definitely. But that's enough about the organization and the event as a whole. Let's talk about the actual gameplay and the games we saw. For me, I'm just going to talk a little bit about the personal highlights.
Go.
I know that I missed early on a bit in the early on in the days, but I was able to catch quite a bit of the later matches. I picked up some matches early on. Notably, the first match there was Idra versus MC, and man, Idra took it to MC in those first two games, and I thought that was insane because MLG is on home front soil for me, USA, and it's nice to see a North American player doing well in a North American tournament. Sadly to say, Idra was about the only North American player that we could support the whole way through, seeing as how the Koreans basically dominated there, and a few Europeans took over. Naniwa specifically was also another hot player. If you guys remember, he won in MLG Dallas, and we saw him near the end in the finals there. So I would like to see a little bit more powerhouse from the North American players on home front soil. Let's see some action here so we can get the home team rooting for them.
Yeah.
But Idra, I mean, I'm just going to touch back on him again in the extended series where he faced off against MC near the end. That was rough to watch, man. I was getting quite frustrated
It
because
was painful.
I was really rooting for Idra. I mean, the guy, hate him or love him, if you're at MLG, you're kind of rooting for him. If you're American, this is home turf, you got to root for Idra. And I love the guy anyways, root for him. He's a really great player. Whether people disagree or not on his BM doesn't really matter to me because it's a game and he brings his emotions to the game. And I got to salute a player who doesn't leave anything behind and throws it all at the game. And, I mean, just to see MC work his Jedi mind tricks on Idra was rough to watch
Yeah.
because Idra was coming in this extended series with a 2-0 lead, and MC had to take 4 games in a row. And MC did that. And if you guys remember, MC, even after winning 3 games, he said, "Are you mad?" He was talking to Idra in the chat, and
Yeah.
Idra was saying, "Why would I be mad? Zerg's not supposed to beat Protoss." But, I mean, if something like that was said to me, I know that inside I would be basically a raging volcano. I would want to
Yeah.
just smash my mouse through the glass and start, like, whipping around like a nunchuck and go over there and beat on MC. But Idra kept his cool, but he got basically handled. And I think it all started from the first game against MC where he tried to get it over with quickly with some cheese. Not really cheese, but he went for an all-in build, and I think Day9 said it best that with the pressure of the 2-0 already on your side, you just want to clean up the series and get things over with, so you turn to a quick all-in strategy, and to be honest, I really don't think that's Idra's game. And as we saw, the last game against MC is the one that was the most drawn out, and Idra had the greatest chance of winning there, so
Yeah.
I don't know. Idra's game and his mechanics and his knowledge of the game are impeccable, and probably one of the top Zerg players in the world, right up there with Nest-T and others. But his mind, he just needs to, I don't know, his decision making maybe sometimes is a little bit at fault. But great event, and another thing that really stands out in my mind was Naniwa with the dancing zealots. Little premature dance there, celebration, and he didn't notice that Dark Shrine was up, and well,
Oopsie.
he got humiliated. But Why don't you guys discuss a little bit about your favorite events or your favorite moments and talk about the matches? We'll start with you, Ghost.
Yeah, my favorite. I mean, I liked the final. I liked the Idra match, but there was one game that I was talking to Hydra about, and it was Slug versus Morrow. It was just the Baneling action in that 3 series was just amazing. I'm a big Baneling fan. I like the little green things that explode. They're fantastic. Easily pleased, you might say, but it
So
takes a lot of
you want a
skill to
Baneling
pull
plush
off.
toy is what you're saying?
Yeah, I would love if anybody wants to send me a Baneling plush toy, they would have my heart for life.
Any
there
ladies
was
listening to this, send Ghost Baneling plush toys.
Yeah, but there was just this one point where Protoss, there was a good setup going into it. It had lots of sentries, lots of stalkers. Thought it would be a brilliant idea to put shields around all of his units so his ranged units could attack. But that turned out to be really, really bad because the Banelings got dropped in the middle of the force fields and he could not escape from the force fields. And it was epic. I really liked that.
Yeah.
It was a good game, though. It was a really good game.
Okay, what about the rest? What about Idra? What's your opinion over it? Was it Jedi mind tricked? What happened there?
I don't know what was wrong with Idra. I mean, I'm with Jonathan. Idra to me is the whole map control, macro mode thing. You know what I mean? That's what Idra does. For me, it was far too aggressive. I was screaming it. You know what I mean? Every time I was watching him, would you just stop going aggressive? Yeah. I would have just loved to have seen him just like in the last match, like you said. I think he was unlucky in that last match that the Dark Templar I think he just threw him off at the end. He was not expecting it.
Oh, that was with Naniwa versus MC. That was a different set, different players.
Oh no, there was the Templars in the Idra one.
Yeah, on the final game there was.
Yeah, in the final game.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, at the very end of that he had DTs in there.
I think that sort of I think Israel would have actually won that game if them Dark Templars didn't come out, because they just killed all of his economy.
Yeah, they ravaged
it just stopped the machine. If you stop Idra's machine working, then there's nothing you can do, and that's exactly what happened. But I really think if them DTs didn't get rolled out, then that might have changed the outcome of the series completely.
Yeah, well, his observers and spore crawlers got sniped, and I think one of the other main problems in that last was the Hydras were just so squishy, had no upfront sponge to soak up the DPS from the other units.
Force.
You need something in front of those Hydras, you know?
Yeah,
if
you
it's
need Lings or something.
Yeah, if it's Zerglings surrounding all of those units, okay, it's something. Roaches, yeah, if you leave just a bunch of Hydras on the front, they get roasted really quickly. They're just squishy, that's all.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, we have our own Hydra. We can't leave him by himself. We need to surround him and protect him.
Yeah. So for me, I'm not going to insist much on that. The matters that you guys already discussed. For me, yeah, I think that MC played brilliantly outside of the game. You know what I mean? These Jedi mind tricks, that comment that he made inside the game, saying "Are you angry?" and all of that stuff, just worked its way to Idra's mind. But I would like to comment something that we still haven't talked and happened a bit before. On the game with Idra and Slayer's MMA, you recall on that game that really weird GG.
Oh, yeah.
Where it just... Okay, people have been discussing that for a long, long time now. There's plenty of threads and plenty of discussion about it on Team Liquid and other forums, obviously. And I'm not sure exactly what Idra thought about there. There's several opinions at the moment. There's even people making conspiracy theories saying, no, he did it on purpose because he wanted to face MC again. But, well, if that was the plan, it didn't work. Other issues that they say is that probably didn't realize that... Slayer's MMA was on 3 bases. He thought he was on 4, so he thought he was way too delayed, way back on his game, so he wouldn't be able to get back into it and balance the game. So he just GG'd way too soon, just trying to probably save himself, not wear himself too much. There's another one saying as well that there was a bunch of workers all piled up on one corner, and he didn't notice. He just thought that the MMA went there and killed all the workers because he didn't saw any workers on the mineral line. Basically, he had misclicked. But yeah, well, there's a lot of theories. What I do know is that that game was really quirky, really weird, really strange, and you had Idra just GGing out I don't know, out of the blue, was completely unexpected on a moment where he had some Mutalisks and there was no ground force to shoot it. There was just a bunch of siege tanks. So basically, he could start cleaning siege tanks. And Hydra decided to GG out of the match, and people were wondering what the hell happened here. Also, on that same game, keep in mind that because of a misclick as well, MMA pointed all of his siege tanks to one of his command centers, and he just blasted away his own command center. That game was really, really just out of the ordinary. That thing wasn't normal. And basically, out of all of those errors, we have Hydra just GGing much, much too soon, just completely premature, and throwing off his game. I don't know, he felt like he was going down the hill after that game, just after that you went to face MC, and the MC just basically played with him, toyed with him, and I'm pretty sure that Hydra didn't want that, but things didn't went his way. Final comment for me to add. It was a bit unfortunate to see North American and European players not being able to get a bit higher, We did see like Naniwa on the European side and Hydra on the North American side trying to battle against the Koreans and get a bit of...
What happened to the rest of the Team Liquid boys? I mean, there was basically a no-show. TLO was the bottom of his pool. Yeah. Tyler was second to bottom of his pool. I mean, In Control, second to bottom. They're joining TLO. I know TLO touched on last week he wanted to come out ahead of In Control in points, but that didn't happen. But, I mean, that's a sad state for home turf. I mean, Sheth and Machine did pretty good, but they still... I mean,
they're only average.
Yeah, the Koreans cleaned house. Naniwa was still hot, and Hydra was definitely beasting. And in my opinion, Hydra could have won the whole thing. It just seemed like the end there, it was just starting to fall apart in a few different ways.
Yeah, he just mentally broke there. I don't know. MC knew exactly which button to push. He pushed the button, and Hydra just went down. Mm-hmm. And on the mind games, MC was just light years ahead of him. Simple as that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think outside of Hook, I've yet to see an American actually play mind games with people. It seems to be a lot more of a Korean thing.
Well, apparently, yes. On the European side as well, I mean, you didn't have any mind games. It was basically MC dominating the scene by doing all of that to Hydra, and obviously focused a lot of attentions on him for the good... for good reason, especially on the Korean sides that obviously were rooting for their Korean players. But I was hoping to see Europeans and North Americans rise a bit more, get a bit more of attention, a bit more of visibility. Mm-hmm. Also, another detail, the Canadian Slush, he did quite well. I wasn't expecting him to get that high. Yeah, played quite well. Congrats to him. I actually think he did more than other players that have streams and are really popular and everyone says they're monsters and they're going to own everyone. And, well, Slush doesn't have any of that and he did quite well on MLG. So congrats to him as well. But on the next MLG, I want Koreans there. Yes, I like to see the Koreans playing on MLG. But I want Europeans and the Americans to just, I don't know, focus, practice 24/7, do whatever it takes and put those Koreans down, at least for one event. It would be nice. Still, everyone watched the finals and semifinals, and we had some tremendous games. Law Zero versus MMA was beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
And we had July Zerg putting out a nice show as well. Had some pretty cool games.
Mm-hmm. Lacira, I mean, he just brought the Baneling madness, I thought, and it was really great to see Lacira play. And MMA, Slayer's team, hot right now, man. It seems that we're seeing Slayer's members take wins just about everywhere they can get their hands on, and we got to give big time kudos and tip our hats there to Slayer's MMA, because this guy has just been doing his mixed martial art thing, doing kung fu on everybody, just beating down all his opponents. Because
it was a well-deserved win. There was absolutely no doubt about that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and was impressive to see him doing all of those multi-pronged attacks. Like, I could see Tasteless and Artosis following MMA, checking the main battle, and then there was like 2 and 3 drops occurring on 2 and 3 different bases on the back. Mm-hmm. Like, MMA was all over the place. I was trying to check on the camera, see if he was playing with his hands and his feet at the same time. Could be could be a solution, so you can multitask better, but he wasn't. He was just playing with his hands, and brilliantly, just beautiful. It feels like the guy is just Slayer's boxer pupil, and he's just taking all his lessons. That's all.
Yeah, I mean, who could you ask for to be a tutor? If you were going to pick anyone, you'd pick Slayer's boxer. And it just seems to be showing in everyone that's touching this man and getting shooted by this man is turning into big star players.
Yeah, yeah.
I would definitely agree. And another thing I'm very interested to see is how the trade program is going to go with American and foreign players, rather, going over to Korea and playing in the GSL, because this is not just a one-way transfer program. We're going to be seeing foreigners appear in the GSL, and I really want to see how that's going to shape up, if that's going to really spark interest in more players in the MLG.
Yeah,
Well,
hopefully it won't always be Koreans that get sent over.
yeah, well, from what I know, as you know, there's a lot of people that were able to get the spot now. But the problem is that, as far as I recall, what's agreed is that whoever takes the spots on MLG will go to Code A, and you might not have that many players willing to go to Code A. People are rooting that maybe Naniwa would take the spot,
I would love
because
to see Naniwa show up over
yeah,
there. And just
Naniwa,
and be a bad boy at that. I mean, I
well,
want to see that.
Naniwa already mentioned in the past that he would like to go to Korea. Is this the right time? I don't know. He's the only one that can answer. But maybe him. Slush would have a spot as well if he wanted to go. But I know, for example, Idra. Idra doesn't want to go. He just got back from there.
Yeah.
And he got back from there leaving Code S, so he's not going to go to Code A.
Yeah.
And like Hydra, there's at least a couple other players that I don't think they're going to go. You could have Heypro. Heypro just got back from Korea, doesn't want to go back. Ret just got back as well. So there's several players that you might even think, oh, it would be awesome to see them there, but they already been there, or they don't want to go to Code A. I can see Naniwa considering his options. I do. I can see that. Slush, I don't know. I don't follow him that closely, but I think he would do fairly decently on Code A. I don't know, at least based on his results here on the MLG, he was playing pretty well. Still, Naniwa would be awesome.
Yeah, especially with Naniwa's current form. I mean, I don't know if he wants to go over in Korea. That might wreck his, or not wreck, but change the way he's playing right now. But seeing Naniwa at least go over there and give it a shot, I would definitely tune in for that and definitely follow that, because Naniwa is just a brutal force right now, just absolutely brutal on the Korean scene.
He's very entertaining to watch. So.
Yeah.
But
I think the only big problem is with the whole going into Code A and stuff like that as well. Is it's a big step up in going to an American LAN event and playing, and then all of a sudden going to Korea to be in Code 8. It's a big step up that some people might not be wanting to do socially. You know, there's a million and one reasons. It's a big step up. It's not just saying go to the other country, the other side of the country or another part of the country and join this tournament. It's go to a completely different country on the other side of the world, practically. It's a big change.
Yeah, and there's also other issues related with that. I mean, you're going to the GSL, you're going to be there 1 month, or if you're not going to be 1 month, you're going to be 3 weeks or 2 weeks, doesn't matter. But that's another issue. You're going to have to commit yourself only to that event. And as you've already been witnessing on other online events, when you're playing from Korea into North American servers and so on, it's hard. It's complicated for you to participate on online events. So you need to balance it. You need to see, we're talking about professional gamers, they want to earn money. It's simple as that. So they need to just put it on a scale and wait, see where do I have more chances of getting money. And if it was Code S, there's a big price on the top. But Code A, the price on the top is not that big. They might be able to rack up that playing European tournaments and North American tournaments, and by that they just stay at home. They don't need to hang 1 month in Korea. They just go on weekends, play on some local event, or play online on the days of the week that we have online events, and it's much easier. So it is a big step. Yeah, Ghost is right on that. Absolutely.
Definitely.
I think outside of the step as well, I think actually America, over the next 6 months, 12 months, is actually the place to be.
Yeah. I mean, you have lots of tournaments, probably. I mean, IPL is proven to be quite the established new tournament that's showing up in the North American scene. MLG ratcheting down on the quality of their production, and then NASL. I mean, so you have three different choices here. You just got to choose your vice. So, I mean...
It's in a relatively nice time relation to Europe as well. Whereas when you move to Korea, you're in a bad time relation to both of them, pretty much.
it's
Yeah.
time zone, culture, everything's going to be different. So it's a huge shift. And then, as Hydra said, as a pro gamer, you're there to make money as a living. But I mean, as you said, Hydra, Naniwa is the only one who's going to be able to answer that question, and it's whether he wants to fulfill that dream and try it out or not. It depends.
Yeah,
It's up to
Yeah.
I
him.
mean, if none of them want to go, I mean, I'd quite happily go.
Right.
Oh.
I don't
Let me
think I do very well.
let me just add a couple of comments here, just to make some short mentions to players that actually didn't do very well on MLG, and people might have not noticed that. Just gonna make I think you have a screen there with the pool results with wins and defeats. Iceman, do you have that? Maybe you could show it on the screen.
Yeah, I can try. The problem is the numbers
it's
are so
little,
small. I
isn't
don't
it?
think that the resolution
Yeah.
is going to show up correctly, so I didn't put
Well,
that in.
Okay, so I'll just gonna
Just read out
show
the slides, yeah.
Yeah, it's very simple. You had, for example, on Pool A and B, you have Greytorp, 0 wins, 5 defeats on the series, 2 wins, 10 defeats on the games that he played. Then, okay, Greytorp, we know he's a bit out. He's a caster now on NASL, so it's not a big deal. But Druby, 7-8, 2 wins, 3 defeats. And then you have Kiwikaki, 1 win, 4 defeats. So it hurts, right?
Yeah.
Select, 0 wins, 5 defeats. He won 2 games and lost 10. You have you have TLO. TLO won 1 game, lost 4 series. I'm sorry, won 1 series, lost 4 series. Won 3 games, lost 9. And then Tyler, 1 win, 4 defeats. And I don't know, In Control, 2 wins, 3 defeats. So this is the guys that ended up on the bottom of the pools. And as you guys were listening, I said a couple of names there that are quite big. TLO, Select, Kiwikaki, Druby. These guys are good. But I don't know where they were for Columbus. Things weren't working for them. Or maybe the competition was just way too strong and they couldn't resist it. Now, on the good side, Slush, number 2 on Pool A and B, with 8 games won, 5 defeats. Still close. Not the best ratio there, but a good result for Slush. Only had Naniwa in front of him. And then you had Cheth, third place on Pool B, with 7 wins, 7 defeats on the games. On the series, he won 3 series, lost 2. So close call there, but still a good result for Cheth. In front of Show, so a good result there for him. Meaning that we have some players that they need to shape up their game, especially if they want to keep playing on the MLG and on all the big events that are coming there. The next one, we'll probably be seeing a DreamHack, might be the next one.
I believe I believe DreamHack is the next major live event.
Yeah,
I think
next
so.
Next MLG is a good 2 months away.
Yeah,
DreamHack's next month, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I think so.
DreamHack, that's going to be huge. So, I mean, hopefully we're going to see some players that didn't do so good here are going to do much better there. But one player that you did mention, Hydra, that I really am I'm wondering a little bit about is Liquid Tyler. We haven't heard much from him. I mean, he didn't do as well as people might have thought in the TSL 3, and other than that, where have we seen him much?
Yeah, he's been making comments saying that he's considering his options. Maybe he's not going to focus that much on his playing. Maybe he's going to focus more on stuff going on behind the curtain, organization, managing. I guess we're going to have to wait and see. But at the moment, Tyler is not on top of his game. Doesn't seem that mentally he's setting himself and to dedicate time to get his game to the next level. And, well, the results are not showing up. But I don't know. Tyler is not the biggest concern for me here. The biggest concerns for me here, it's clearly Select. Because Select, 0 wins, 5 defeats, and I think Select is better than that. And TLO as well, but we already discussed this. TLO is taking care of his health issues at the moment.
Yeah.
Maybe it's related to that. Maybe he's not 100% physically, so he can play the game as he played before. But these 2 players are my biggest concerns.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
Select did very well in the last season of IPL.
Yeah.
So I'm not too concerned with him because he was performing quite well. But this, I mean, his performance in MLG was pretty disappointing. But he did show good play in IPL. So I mean, he has done relatively well recently.
Yeah.
I mean, the trouble is they are bottom of the groups. But if you look at the people who are the top of the groups, I mean, losing to those players is nothing to be ashamed of. But like you say, it's disappointing because with a bit of effort, a bit of practice, they could be up there as well.
So yeah, that's it. When we had the final result for the MLG, and throwing a couple of spoilers for whoever haven't sit down and watched it, but we had the big clash between MMA and Losira, and Losira lost the finals. MMA took the final victory and is the MLG champion. Well deserved, by the way. MMA was just so good on this MLG. He was able to put Day 9 screaming from the top of his lungs. Something that I personally don't like. I don't like people shouting on my ears, but it was excitement. It's
I
fine.
can put up with it when the event calls for it. When the moment calls for it, if the emotion's there, I'm all for it.
I mean, that's
No,
Day 9. Day 9's all emotion.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. It was called for. I mean, it was really exciting. Tremendous games going on there by MMA. Low Zero was putting up a big show as well, and it was an epic finals. Too bad that we didn't have more Europeans and North Americans on at least the semifinals. But I'm gonna hope for the next MLG event to provide that for us.
Definitely.
There's one thing that I was pleased as well. It was nice to see the Zergs doing so well. If you look at it in the other tournaments, like I say, a lot of it's all Terran based, but I think this was a tournament for the Zergs. The play just seems to have gone to a completely different level. I mean, there was not one match that I saw that had Roach, Hydra, the usual thing that people do. It was all low tier Zerglings, Mutas. It was entertaining Zerg play.
Yeah, on that Ghost, on that game you were commenting that you really like from Morrow. There was one game on that series where Morrow had 116. No, I'm sorry.
Yes, I remember that. It was 100.
No, 163 Zerglings. I don't know, it was a lot of Zerglings. Almost your whole supply made out of Zerglings. He had basically Zerglings and drones, and he just completely smashed his opponent with Zerglings. It was just beautiful to see. It felt like a wave coming, a Zergling tsunami. It was awesome to watch.
It's good the way that it splits about as well. I think in the way that Terran have gone from doing just the one drop to MMA doing the 3, 4, 16 prong attacks, whatever he was doing. I think speedlings are the way that Zergs need to do it. It's sort of like Mutas have done it, where they do the whole aerial harassment. I think by splitting up lost me words completely. Splitting up Zerglings and doing different prongs attacks with them seemed to be really successful. Because like I say, all I saw was Zerglings, Mutas, Banelings. Hardly saw any Roaches. The only person I saw use Roaches and Hydras was Idra. And it didn't turn out too well for him, bless him.
Yeah, well, it was a sign that the Zergs are focusing on the speed, which is one of the main characteristics of the race. Like, Mutalisks really fast, Speedlings really fast, Banelings with speed really fast, and they just use that unit composition to smash their opponents. And if you're able to just micro all of that, you ended up with a really tremendous army, just so fast, especially if you have a good creep spread, which we saw with Morrow and other Zergs, obviously.
Yeah.
But I think that's about it for this week's show. I mean, that's all the topics we have. And great events this past week. MLG was quite an awesome event to watch and partake via the live stream. Hopefully someday I'll be able to be there in person. But until then, I'll continue watching on the streams. And I'm really looking forward to the next big event that we have coming here, which is DreamHack. And our very own Sebastian is going to be at that event commentating. And it's going to be live on national Swedish television, so looking forward to that because he's going to bring many stories and lots of info and insider news to the GGRated live show. So I'm going to be looking forward to that. And I think that's about wraps it up for me, the Iceman, and Hydra, Ghost. Any last shout-outs you want to say before we wrap this up?
Yeah, I think we've actually lost Hydra.
Oh, we have?
We have officially lost our Hydra.
Go ahead and I'll let you make some shout-outs here as we get Hydra back.
I'm back. I am back.
He has returned.
my internet just died on me, but gladly I was able to finish my sentence and then it just crashed, but I'm back. It's fine.
Well, I don't think we heard your sentence, so you might have to repeat it.
Oh, I don't remember what I was saying anyway, so it's fine.
Yeah, anyways, I was just saying we're closing it up here, and any last shout-outs from you or Ghost? Hydra, go for it. Then Ghost, give your shout-outs, and we'll close it up.
Very short shout-out. If you guys want to check some MLG matches that you missed during the week, just go on my channel, XHydraX on YouTube, and I already have there MC against Idra, and have MC against Thorzane, and because MLG didn't cover the extended series between MC and Thorzane, I will be taking care of that series. Not sure if I'm going to start tomorrow, but I will be starting soon. So if you guys want to see that, it was something that a lot of people missed. Stay tuned. Keep an eye for it.
Sounds good. And Ghost, any shout outs for you?
Yeah, I'm going to do an absolutely shameless self-plug and just tell people if they want some coverage on E3, which is happening live at the moment, there's going to be loads of posts on www.rush-zone.com. I'm going to be posting them all up myself because I have a week off work, so I have the privilege of watching all of that. And of course, that's where we can catch more from you guys. So
There's the link.
That's superb.
There's the link. And that's it for today.
Yep. Great show. Ghost, thanks for joining us and filling in
thank you
when
very much for
Sebastian was
having me.
gone. And thanks everybody who did show up today. A little bit of a smaller crowd than last week, but it's all right. We still had people showing up, and if you tuned in late and missed out the beginning, check out the VOD or check out the podcast. And guys, subscribe to our Justin.tv channel. That's GGRated. And also follow us on Twitter, twitter.com/GGRated, and shout out to us, and we'll show you some love. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in and staying with us, and tune in next week. It's going to be a great show, and we have some more big-name stars lined up, hopefully going to be coming on the show and joining us soon enough. So for the Iceman...
A little bit more special than me.
No, you're special. You're special in a different way, but...
Thank you.
Anyways... Thanks, everyone. Take care. See ya. Have fun. And this is the Iceman signing out. GG.
GG!
See you
I'm
guys.
gonna get myself one of them buttons.
It's done.